Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We are at Frankston station. There's a Commenge over there and a Siemens on this side. I've already filmed the Frankston line and you can go watch that video. That was quite a few days ago, but now I'm back here for the Stony Point line, which I failed to film on that day. I'm just thinking how long this Frankston line is. It's absolutely crazy. It takes 1 hour and 6 minutes, no, 8 minutes, 1 hour and 8 minutes to get to the city, which is already ridiculous compared to Perth. You literally have Mandurah Line, which is like the longest yet fastest, well, not longest, this is because of like, what's that place called? Gympie North line in Brisbane, I guess. But it's 70 kilometers long, but it's the fastest suburban rail line in Australia. 50 minutes. You think it's long when you're in Perth. You're like, what? It takes 50 minutes? That's nothing compared to this Frankston line, which is like, what, 35-40 kilometers, and it takes so long, 1 hour and 8 minutes. And then it also continues to Williamstown or Werribee, which is another like 40 minutes. So overall that's 1 hour and 50 minutes just for that full service, which is longer than the full service Mandurah to Yanchep, even though that's like way further. That's about 120 kilometers Mandurah to Yanchep, even more, while this is like 60, half of that. And it takes more time. Unbelievably slow, and with the amount of stations. But anyway, there goes that Siemens Frankston line. You can already see Williamstown on the desktop right now. And yeah, when you look at the board, how many stations? Why does it continues to Newport? It continues to Williamstown. But anyway, what the... oh, look, they're coupling some cars together. They just coupled two Sprinters together to make a 2-car Stony Point service here. The Stony Point line is the only diesel operated metro line which actually uses these Sprinter trains in V-Line livery. It's hired from V-Line, but they're part of Metro Trains Melbourne, driven by the metro drivers. They can operate as just a 1-car shuttle, which they do often, which is so weird, 1 car, or they can couple 2 together like they just did right now to run as a 2-car service when it's a little busier. And here we have a Commenge going up to Laverton. Again, it says Newport. They need to fix this. What? Why say continues to Newport? Anyway, the train's actually getting rather busy for what it is. Oh, it doesn't say Stony Point on there. It says it on the one down there though. It's literally like the same platform, even though it's numbered differently. But there's the thing, and then the next train after that is 104 minutes, and after that is 204. It's extremely limited frequency because it's like single track the whole way. Actually, this train just arrived from Stony Point. It's a single car shuttle, and now it's connected to form a 2-car on the way back down. Here's the interior. It's 3x2 seating. In a lot of the car. Here we go, departing. This is a about 36-minute journey, so it's actually quite a while. There's 10 stations. All of them are just quite rural towns though, which is why the frequency is also so poor, because it's gonna get pretty limited patronage. I'm surprised the train even runs down here and it's not just some crappy bus route, but cool. Also, Stony Point is right by the water, and there's a ferry terminal there where you can connect to a ferry which goes to Phillip Island, which is also a tourist destination with good beaches and holds the MotoGP race for the Australia every year as well, the Australian race. But I don't think anyone's gonna be taking the Stony Point line and the ferry to get there. And there's probably like better bus services anyway, like V-Line coach services from the city if you wanted to. And it is single track literally all the way, so I'm not gonna be seeing another track. It's probably just bushy like this most of the way as well. Now there have been proposals to extend the electrification further and double the track and remove the level crossings with a further extension of the already very long Frankston line, but then they decided to instead do level crossing removals on the existing Frankston line, as you see with how many new stations there are there, and kind of cancelled this plan. And it was only going to be for 2 stations anyway, over to Baxter, which is not even that major of a place, so it's probably kind of pointless to do that. You can just get there with a bus pretty easily as well. Yep, there's a level crossing in a very main road, and then this tiny little train going over. Kind of wish it was one car right now. I mean, no, because then it would be fuller, but it's just funny having a one-car train. You almost never experience that. And we're already at the first stop out from Frankston, which is Leawarra. There's no automatic announcements though. Maybe he'll make a manual one. There's actually like cars parked at the front here. Why would you park here and rely on this service when you could just drive to Frankston and get a 10-minute frequency? It's like barely any further. It's just a tiny little shelter, like a bus stop. And those cars parked there. Yep, no announcements. And this might actually be the only time I get to ride on a Sprinter. Even though they run on the B-Line Seymour line, local service, stopping at all the little stops. But I probably won't be going up there again since I've already been through Seymour. I'm only going to go to other V-Line services, so I'm actually probably not going to ride on this as a V-Line service. But that's okay, because I get to experience it here anyway. Sorry, it's blurry. It's kind of focusing on the reflection. Now I'll show you the route Google Maps map for this line. So there's Frankston, and then we go down this way and head east for a while before this turns south, and then just all the way down south until we reach Stony Point, which is all the way down here, and you can see the water right there, and then that's Phillip Island where you can take the ferry to. And this is how far we are from the city. actually is still normal suburbia here for a little bit, but this is just all served by buses instead, mostly. There's not even a station here anyway. Actually, there's like no bus stops inside. I have to walk out to the main Cranbourne Road. But oh well. That's kind of sad. There's a train right behind them, but they can't use it. There's a highway here. That's basically the main road going down in the south direction to the southern edge of the bay. I love the sound of the horn on this train. See, listen to the Commons actually used to have such a good horn as well, but literally like this year they were replaced with the more modern but worse sounding X-Trapolis horn as well. So it's actually crazy like how much horn usage there is in Victoria. All the time, literally when you leave the station, twice at level crossings, when you enter a tunnel, all the time. And again, I know I've said this so many times, but there's actually another good Tate Set video that you can watch on that topic. I've actually been rewatching all his videos while I'm here to like relearn a few things which I would have forgotten, and it's really cool because I remember always watching those videos at home and being like, oh, I can't see any of this for myself, but then I just now watch it, and then the next day I go look at what I just watched, if there's like a specific place being shown, including actually yesterday I went for a walk from Jewel Station to Rushall Station from the Upfield line to the Mernda line, which that whole section is part of the old inner city circle train line, and it's now just a long path, which there is a video on his channel of when he walked that path as well, and then I did it yesterday and saw it all for myself. Okay, here we are. This is Baxter. This is where they propose to extend the electrification to, because there's still quite typical suburbia here, but then after this, really not anymore. There is, but they're all just like towns. There's just vegetation all around, except the actual town center. that the 52-kilometer marker from the city right there? From Southern Cross, actually, I think they count everything from now. Or wait, no, or did that change to Flinders Street then? I forgot which way around it was. It changed from one to the other, but yeah. Yep, you can see what a rural setting we're in now with the 1x1 lane road over there and the horses and the farmland. Here we are at the next station, Somerville, which is another town. This time the platform's on this side, but all the platforms are just really simple like this. Quite short as well, and just tiny little waiting shelter. Tyabb station. Such a weird word. Double B. So strange. Even worse, look at that, literally a bus stop shelter. Now I'm just looking at the bus networks through here. There's not really any connecting buses to this terrible service. But there's this route numbered 782, which is basically just the train as well, but it's also hourly, but obviously has a ton more stops. Look at this. It starts at Frankston and oops, hang on. See, and heads all the way down, kind of following the train line, stopping at many of the stops like that, and then in there, gets to Crib Point, not Stony Point though, then turns around and then it goes all the way down here and like far away to a different place called Flinders, which I mentioned before. There's both Seaford and Flinders here around the Frankston area, which are the two termini of the Adelaide train line that goes in the south western direction, and they're both here as well. There's actually a path there as well, although it's such a rural setting. It's weird that they actually built that to connect between the towns if you want to walk. What's even the point of signaling on this line if it's just single track and there's not even any crossover points, passing loops? Like what? Why do you need signals? Except for if there's like two trains running in close proximity in the same direction and then you just had to know that it's nearby in front of you, but why would they ever do that? Yeah, that path is so long. I saw one person on it, but other than that, I don't think anyone's going to be making this walk, especially in the middle of the day in the hot sun. Oh, never mind, there's someone over there on a scooter though. Two people. And there's a track going out that way. That's probably abandoned though. There's quite a lot of random... Oh no, that's a freight track, I think, to the port that's located over there. Crib Point Port or whatever. There are a few freight trains which come down this line, yes. I guess that's what the signals could be for if you're following one of those. I actually got some good speed now for a little bit. But we're coming into the next town, which is Hastings. Another track off to the side. so much horns when there's so many level crossings, and they have to do it twice at each one, like about 400 meters before, and then again when they reach it. Unbelievable. Which is what Tate said talked about in his video. When you have so much common usage of the horn, it then becomes useless as a warning device, because people just expect to be hearing it all the time, and hearing it's not that significant. And then if someone actually does something dangerous, you can't really warn them by using the horn anymore. Here we are, Hastings. So crazy that they called this part of the metropolitan train network when we're actually in random towns, and then places so close to the city like Deer Park from that V-Line video I made. So close in normal suburbia are part of the regional network. Like, what the hell? Such a dumb contrast. Here we are at Bittern station. there's actually a guard on this train in this back carriage, and I think he's making some manual announcements at the stations, but it's very hard to hear it properly, which is like the only metro trains Melbourne service to have a guard on it then. And with this I will have completed all the suburban lines of Melbourne in full, gone past every station. And honestly, I'm gonna say my favorite line is the Williamstown Werribee. I've already said this last time. Probably Williamstown itself. It's just really cool. It's quite short, but it's got a lot of good stations, heritage ones, and then also level crossing removal ones. And just the Williamstown Peninsula is very nice itself. I don't know, and it's got all three types of trains possibly operating on it: Siemens, Comminge, and X-Trap. So it's got a good variety of that as well. Plus Werribee line, if you include that, has cool stopping patterns, and the section through Altona is special as well. And then there's that whole express pattern bit with its own separate track. So I think that's my favorite there. And then my least favorite would probably be Cranbourne line, East Pakenham line, but Cranbourne especially, because Cranbourne terminus is really boring as well. It's just so long, so straight, so identical with so many other elevated level crossing removal stations. It takes way too long, and it's, I mean, HCMTs are not bad, but it's just one type of train all the time. So probably, yeah, not that nice. And then next least favorite would probably be Morradoo. It's also quite a boring line. It's just 100% X-Traps on that, which are probably my least favorite type of train, to be honest, especially with how frequent they are, how abundant they are. I mean, way too many X-Traps that they ordered. So many lines are 100% X-Trap. Glenwaverey, Alamein, Lilydale, Belgrave, Hertzbridge, Morradoo, all of those are just X-Traps. And then they also run on Sandringham, Frankston, Werribee, Williamstown. They're all over the place. And it's not even that good of a train. Some of them are like 3 years old, and they have the scrolling caps destos, passenger displays, instead of proper screens like some of the Comminges even do, as well as the Siemens and HCMTs. And the announcements are worse as well. And the colors inside are not that great, like green and blue and whatever it is. How is that like disability friendly? And the seating layout is just four pair seats, 4 seats facing each other. It's not that nice. I mean, a lot of the trains have that, but that one is like only that. Plus they're so bouncy, the suspension is terrible on them. And the horn is very bad, so much negatives. Anyway, that was Morradoo station. Now it's only 2 more stops: Crib Point and Stony Point. Yeah, so if I'd have to rank the trains, I'd say the best is the Siemens. It's not like completely brand new, but it's got all the features you want. It's got a good screen, it's a good shape, good comfortable, good announcements. I mean, good comfort, sorry. And connected gangways. 72 kilometers from the city marker that was. That's actually now further than Mandurah is, which seems quite surprising, but we are actually further now, although it's taken way longer than Mandurah line would have taken, and we're basically nearly at the terminus. Yeah, anyway, after the Siemens, it's the HCMT. Then it's still a good train. It just always smells like plastic, and not everything is that great about it. I think the seats are a bit worse, but otherwise it's still a pretty good train. And then next is the Comminge. Of course, a lot of people are gonna be annoyed at me saying that the Comminge is not that great, but honestly, it's very old. Even with the refurbs, it really doesn't look that great, both inside and out. I don't really like it. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. Here we are at Crib Point. This is actually, there's a like Navy base over there, and then it says on the station sign. think that guy's waiting for the Flinders Street service, which is just going to be this same train. Why doesn't he just get on instead of continuing to wait there? Yeah, and then obviously last will be the X-Trap, which I already talked about, all the negatives it has. And then for V-Line as well, honestly, I do like the velocities. A lot of people also disagree on that and say that they're not good. But the velocities are fine, it's just they don't have food on board for long distance services except on the Albury line. But other than that, they're really fast, they're really comfortable, they're way more modern than everything else. It's fine. The NZ locomotives are being withdrawn soon and it's okay. That's then the second train, I'd say. I just don't like, I'm not that much of a fan of like the old interiors. It just doesn't feel as good as new ones. And then the Sprinter would probably be my least favorite V-Line, even though this has been my only experience of it, but NZ is still better than this, so I don't really like this that much. And then there's also the Extrapolis 2.0 Suburban train coming out, which I haven't really seen properly, experienced properly, but I've seen a few photos of it, of the inside. It kind of looks very similar to the C-Series in Perth. All the seats are actually the same as well. That one would probably be, I'd say, on par, if not better, than the HCMT, but obviously I haven't ridden it and it's not going to be in service for a while still, so I won't know how to feel about it. It's crazy how many new types of trains they're getting. Literally 3 years ago they were still, or like 4 years ago, they were still ordering X-Traps, the 1.0 version, even though the train itself is actually 20 years old. They have so much of difference in age. That's the same as the B-Series. They have ones from 2019 in Perth and then also 2004. But yeah, they were still ordering those. Then they got the HCMTs as part of the Metro Tunnel project, even though it's still not open and they're supposed to be just for that, but now they're just running on Cranbourne, Pakenham and like 2 services on Sunbury Line, which that would actually be pretty interesting, going on the Sunbury Line HCMT, but it's very early in the morning. I don't think I'm going to do it. But yeah, those that came in 2020, it's going to be 5 years later that they're actually put to the use they were bought for. And then now they're already getting X-Traps 2.0, which is not even going to be for the Metro Tunnel. So the newest type of train is then not going to be in the Metro Tunnel. And those are just another new type of train less than 5 years later. It's so weird. Meanwhile in Perth it's like 15, like 15 to 20 years between getting new train types. Anyway, here we are at Stony Point. Finally, this is the terminus, 36 minutes as I said, but that's actually with pauses, so it's a little late. There is actually a little passing loop there, if you did see. There is a second track right here at the end. I don't know what that would be used for though. Maybe just to hold one of the cars if they split it up, which they do sometimes. They split it up here and then run it back as a single car, while the other one then returns with the second driver like an hour later, so it's hourly frequency instead of 2 hourly. Oh my gosh, look at that step. Crazy step down and gap. There's actually quite a lot of people that came to Stony Point. Smells like fish. This is the waiting shelter. Let's get a shot from the front. They really should have repainted the Sprinter blue for this service, because now it just completely looks like V-Line. And this whole place looks like a V-Line terminus, but oops. Whatever. Let's tap off just to register that I went here. Touched on. I took more than 2 hours to get here, so now it says touched on. That's quite confusing, because if I didn't read that, I would then try to touch back on later, and then it would touch me off, and then if I got ticket checked, I'd be in trouble. Anyway, where else do you come out of a train station? What is this ramp? It just goes into the grass, and just see a caravan park right in front of you, serviced by this train. and the beach right here. Okay, I said the stations on the Frankston line are the closest to the beach, but no, this is the closest to the beach. Right here. Ocean, and there's all the islands over there. I think is that Phillip Island right there? Yeah, probably. Nice to get some fresh air here. Now, yeah, that's Phillip Island down there, I think, and that's French Island, which is just a massive like national park, but there's like almost nothing there. Nice. Massive pelicans here, look at that. Such a nice greeting as soon as you get off the train. This is such a weird station. Where the hell does the ferry come here? This does not seem like... Oh, over there it says. I don't know when that's coming though. Although I'm just gonna have to go straight back, and there's nothing really here anyway. There's not even any like residential area. It's just this campsite. The train's in 10 minutes. The next one's 2 hours after that, so I'm obviously not staying here. There's the pier for the ferries you can take to French and Phillip Islands. Here's the sign, Stony Point Station, ferry services right. Otherwise here, there's quite a lot of cars parked here as well. I don't know where they came from. Are these part of the caravan park, or are these people who actually went on the train? What a weird place. I actually really like this now. The Stony Point is such a cool station. Yep, thanks for watching this video. I've now covered every single suburban metro line in Melbourne, even though there's probably many other videos on YouTube about all of this. It's not as unique as me filming the New Zealand videos, which I was kind of like the first person to do. That's why I got so many views on those, almost at 10,000 on each of those videos. I don't think this will do as well, but I guess it's more for the Perth viewers than Melbourne viewers, because Melbourne viewers would already know all of this. I'm just discovering it all myself for the first time. This is so weird. Half the platform is like gravel. And the caravan park right there. In fact, the train literally has the regional V-Line network map on it. They didn't even bother to change that. So the service it's operating is not even on the map that's on the train. Like, what? Now, this is stupid, because the crossover for the double track is just not where the train is, so it can't go onto it as a 2-car. Although I don't think they ever do. It looks so rusted. I don't think any train's gone there. And then it looks like it's double track, but it's not. It literally goes back to single right after that. Alright, that's enough now. I just gotta go back. And all the way up the Frankston line. It's like 2 hours to get to the city from here, almost. Unbelievable. Bye! From Stony Point, my final station to visit. I mean, line to finish. I obviously haven't got off at all the stations, but yeah.